Here is the current version of the FLOWTOM demonstrator aimed at displaying and exploiting the results of the probabilistic forecasting model. This tool was developed in a France Energy Marine R&D project named FLOWTOM. This tool requires logging code that have been provided to FLOWTOM project partner. Please contact France Energy Marine if you are not a project partner and want to access the tool. This tool is divided into two parts. A first fairly classic part, which you see on the screen and which is an interactive weather report, weather dedicated to boat captains and to use in a real-time mode. And the second part of the tool under the Replay tab aims to explore the forecast model and operations at sea. This part is rather dedicated to operations engineers in replay mode of past situations. Throughout the site, you have a sidebar on which you can choose your point of interest. Note that the probabilistic model is only deployed at Le Planier for now. You can also choose your parameters of interest and the unit for wind speed. At the top of the weather report page, the values of the latest wave, wind and weather forecast are displayed. So you have direct access to the latest predicted value of wave height and period, wind speed and direction, and also sea level temperature and atmospheric pressure. Then you have access to the 24 hours of forecast of the main parameters of interest. At the top of the table, in dark gray, you have access to the output of the probabilistic model with a time resolution of 30 minutes. This probabilistic forecast model gives you access to the 10-meter wind speed and the P80 of this forecast, as well as the significant height and the peak period of the total sea. Just below, you have the outputs of the different deterministic models with an hourly time step. If you scroll down the page, you have access to the interactive wind and wave graphs. They show different percentiles of wind speed at 10 meters, the median in black and P5, P20, P80 and P95 in color. And below the same thing for the significant wave height. You can display the different value when hovering over them. You can also zoom over an area of interest and also export the figure in PNG. And at the top of this table, you can click on the I button here to have more information on the table and also on the graph. The second part of the FLOWTOM demonstrator is dedicated to the study of forecast in a replay mode of past situations. Let's first explore the metrics subsection. In the sidebar, you can always choose your parameters of interest. And at the top of the page, unlike the weather report part that we just saw before, on which displayed the last 24 hours, you have access to several forecasts. You therefore choose the forecast that you want to display according to the period that you want to study. Let's choose for example one forecast. The graph will be updated and you can also, for example, change your parameters for waves. You access an interactive graph of the 24 hours you want to study with the percentiles of the probabilistic model in the black and blue, as well as the deterministic model in dark blue and the observations represented by the orange squares. Below, you have the metrics relating to the measurements, the deterministic model and also the probabilistic model. You have also access to comparison scores of these two models with the measurements. So you can access to the, for example, to the normalized root mean square error, the bias, the correlation, and also the standard deviation. And you can see in this example that the probabilistic model has better scores than the deterministic one. The second subpart of this replay mode is dedicated to operations at sea. The idea is to start by defining an operational planning, that is to say a sequence of operations that have a certain duration and also limitations in terms of wind and or waves. To do this, in the first box, operational planning, you first retrieve the template. Help is then displayed to help you fill it out. At the bottom of this help, click on Download Template and close the help. You can then simply edit your planning using a software like Excel. I have filled out planning beforehand and I therefore upload it to the platform. You can see here my planning. I have defined a first operation named moving of 1 hour with a limitation in a significant wave height of 1 meter. A second operation named turbine with a wind limitation, and a third operation named transport with a duration of 1 hour and with both wind and wave limitations. If you click on an operation, you have access on the right to the wind speed and wave height graphs, as well as the operation threshold. Here, 1 meter, for example, for the HS limit during the first operation. If I select the third operation, I can see both the threshold for wind speed and for wave. You can also choose your period of interest, and it will update the graph. The bottom part then displays a go, no-go according to the different sources of information, and this for the entire operational sequence, the operational planning. For the deterministic model and also for the measurement, for the observations, you get binaries value. 0 if you cannot live for the operation, and 1 if you can live. On the other end, for the probabilistic model, you get values between 0 and 1, which indicates the probability that the departure slot is good. 0.4, for example, indicates that 40% of the trajectories predicted by the probabilistic model are below the thresholds defined in the operational planning.